We got a great show tonight. We got a seriously good show tonight.
Because we're viewers that are supplying the content.
You know, it feels like Perkins is auditioning for an announcer position today.
You know what I like is I like it when Perkins leans really close. He looks like Jiminy Cricket. His hair gets all red.
The Rock and Talk Show, Beyond Backstage, with your hosts, Norwood Fisher, Kenny Olson, Scott Page, Stephen Perkins, Sheila Conlon, and David Moss.
Scott Page here, and I want to give a big Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays to all our folks and our peeps that follow us on our Rock and Talk show. I also want to give a big shout out to my co-hosts, Sheila, Dave, Perk, freaking Kenny, Norwood. Love you guys.
Hey, y'all out there. Kenny Olson here at Soundcheck.
Rock and Talk Show 2022. Happy Holidays.
Hey, everybody. Mossman here from the Rock and Talk Show. Just want to take 2 seconds to thank everyone for supporting us this last year. This is our 3rd year. We've had some amazing guests.
2022 is obviously everybody coming back to life after we've all been through.
This show is going to highlight some of the best moments from 2022. It's been a crazy year. It's been a challenging year, but yet we're still here.
Great shows, great guests, great musical performances, the conversations. I mean, the stories being told was fascinating, and to narrow it down to just a few would be impossible because there were so many great ones.
All I can say is it's going to be a great 2023. Holy cow, I never thought I'd be saying that. 2023.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all.
This is our anniversary show, you guys. This is the beginning of the 3rd year. Remember, we tried to do it on 4/20 yesterday, a national holiday. And the circuits were kind of blown, so it didn't work so good.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Nice intro, Dave. Good job.
Rock and Talk Show.
Yay!
Right here, brought to you by From the Earth Official, and we are trying to improvise as best we can, but man, we're having a hard time with technology today.
We've been together longer than a lot of the greatest bands ever.
Yeah, there you go.
And right now, we officially just qualified. We just qualified and got nominated for Best Hair Performance on a podcast. Right there. There it is. We've got to do this. We got to do this. It's a 20-second. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
Hey, Taylor, that you?
Hey, Francis.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Okay. How you doing?
Fine, man, just fine. Hey, dig it. We two-timers, man. We gonna get out of here, boy. I'm gonna see you in the hospital. We gonna get a high. Yes, sir.
We had to do that. I want to know, did you guys get high?
Oh, actually, we did. Oh, yes, we did. There's a scene where we're in the bunker, and just as like O'Neill comes in, not O'Neill, Sergeant Barnes comes in and starts a fight with Sheen and all that stuff. We were on a bender the night before.
Oh, God.
We had gotten wrecked the night before. And if you listen closely in that scene, you can hear me snoring. And we were in the Philippines, where it was 120 degrees in the shade. I was one of the last people to get to the Philippines. So the rest of the cast had been there a week, so they got a chance to stay in Manila and hang out and get a lay of the land. I was the last person to show up. They got me off a plane in my room for overnight and then sent me out into the bush where I had to dig my own foxhole and live with Charlie Sheen in a hole. They wanted us to be as well-trained and as understanding of what we were doing as possible. And we did like 40-kilometer hikes, and we did ambushes, and we did take apart M16s and M60 rifles and put them back together again. and we did get into firefights. We were by the time the cameras rolled. No cameras were rolling during this. No cameras were rolling. We spent 2.5 weeks training, and then they rolled the cameras, and then we had to know our lines, and then we had to act.
Wow.
So when you see that look on our faces, like there's that rolling shot across, and you see all those folks.
Yeah.
You saw. It's like
that was real.
Yeah, that was us. Like had not slept for 28 hours. We were awake and on and in it at that point. We were done. We were those guys.
Tal Wilkenfeld on the Rock and Talk Show.
Yay.
I call out to the ocean. My tears fall into the sea.
I was playing with Jeff Beck and she was doing Prince, and then I started doing Prince stuff, and then she started playing with Jeff, and then she started touring with Jeff, and then I was touring with Herbie, and we did a double bill show with Jeff and Herbie, so we both played the same night, and that's where we met. But it was like really brief. Yeah.
You needed to work on your resume a little bit. Right. It's a little light. Was Jeff and Vinny your first gig?
My first gig was with Chick Corea. But no, actually, my first gig was
my first gig. My first gig was with Chick Corea.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
No, my first gig was actually, technically, it was with the Allman Brothers in New York. Like, they saw me playing at a club when I was 18, and then they invited me to, like, sit in with them at the Beacon. And that's kind of like, that recording was what I used when I sent my music. I sent my music and the Allman Brothers recording to Jeff Beck and to Chick Corea. So
That's what I love about what you do, not only with your instrument, but your courage to go out and get what you want. And no one's going to stop you from playing with Pete Townsend. No one's going to stop you from writing with Jackson Browne. And your vision happens. And it's inspiring to see you in action.
It is.
And I love the way you run your career. And I know careers are bumpy, and the last 2 years have been crazy, but now you're back on tour making records. I think it's great, Tal.
You were very blessed and definitely a chosen one.
Everything under the sun. Under the sun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow.
That was beautiful.
The song I'm about to do is one I wrote called Isn't It Crazy? I'd been listening to like ragtime guitar and Piedmont blues music, and I wanted to write a song kind of in a similar vein, and I ended up writing this song. Isn't it crazy that right now it will be nothing but a memory, nothing but a memory. Isn't it crazy that in your head you're the most important person on this earth? Isn't it crazy that to someone else you're no more important than a speck of dirt? Isn't it crazy that God made this world in a little less than a week? Isn't it crazy that this entire week I haven't done a single thing? a star when all the stars just wanna be normal folks, trading the fame and fancy cars. Isn't it crazy that little pieces of paper can decide if you're rich or poor? Isn't it crazy that if your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents hadn't met, you would not have been born? Isn't it crazy that we're all gonna die one of these days? Isn't it crazy we only got one life, yet we still waste it away?
Wow.
Whoa, buddy.
Wow. I am blown away beyond
away.
even
Wow.
words could even say. What the, oh my God.
What did I just see? Speaking of the Beasties, I hear there's a wacky story. What is that all about?
We was just listening to the record that hadn't came out yet, and Spike Jones was listening to the beats and shit. Drop came on. He didn't even hear the song that long. He just like, it was just kind of playing in the background and shit. And I guess something struck him and he had an idea and shit. And when the time came around to do the video, we linked up with him and he just had this whole idea.
Oh my God. And so he was like, yo, we're going to do this video. He's like, I would like to do this video with you guys. We're going to shoot it and we're going to play everything backwards. And you're going to learn the words backwards.
It's pretty badass.
Do the movements backwards. So we're going to have to probably practice a lot to like get it nice and tight. And we're going to shoot it and then reverse everything. And we were like, oh yeah, we want to do that. And actually learn the words with a linguist to come in and teach us everything. It was like learning a new language and everything. And to teach us this, that was just the next. We had to do it. We had to do it. Always say we needed one more day. We needed one more day, and it would have been seamless because we were learning a new language.
Get in the car and I drive like I'm searching for something. Whenever I go fast, but I'm running from nothing. Nothing but myself in this feeling I can't keep from coming. No, you can't change the tide or the seasons from coming. No watch, no car, no plan. No boy, no smoke, no drink. Keep going, the fuck you think about me? What's hard, the latest trend? Caught there before you did. So think twice before you speak about me. And I'll say to myself, there's no fear in becoming. But I look left and right till I don't see nobody. I don't give a fuck. I don't care at all. Talk all the shit you want, break down my weakest flaws. Really couldn't care less what you're thinking of me. Don't think of you at all, so talk about me. Hey, keep talking about me. Ooh, I love when you talk about me. I'ma do my thing. I'm I'll phase it out. Don't care what you think, just go on and talk.
Yeah. Wow.
Thank you.
Amazing. Chloe.
That was the sweetest.
Nice.
Nice
Nice vocal tone.
Quick question. How do you do the Rock and Talk show while you're driving Uber? I mean, it's just crazy.
It's beautiful. What I do is here. Yes. They said they're a little shy. They don't want to talk. So I can't wait. I'm almost home. I pulled over because as soon as I get home, I'm getting out my horn and I'm going to go play. You've inspired me. I swear to God, honestly.
He's got 2 more Uber trips before the night's done.
Almost done.
In this world, we have mothers and fathers, but we also have mothers and fathers of creation, of the same wisdom that's been carried on through generation upon generation. And we cite it by that Haile Selassie I carries this teaching, carries this way of life, carries these principles, and we cite him as that man that we choose to follow in the Christ consciousness way. And that man has enlightened us as beings, that we have the same spirit within ourselves to illuminate the Christ consciousness within oneself, because we know it's all true because we see with our eyes through the eyes of Haile Selassie I. So it's all those things, trying to be closer to the Creator, trying to have a honest way of life, and being as close as possible to what we consider the higher being and the man that we consider as the highest consciousness in this world, So we try to edify the mind with this higher consciousness so we can live this way, we can walk this way, we can talk this way, and we can be this way, and as well try to eat that way too,
Beautiful.
And then there's the burning bush, and you smoke this way.
I've been rocking and talking all of 2022, and guess what? The year's almost over. I'm Norwood, basis of Fishbone, Trulio Disgracious, the Family Hood Experience, whoever else I'm playing with, you might see me, but the Rock and Talk show is just happying up your holidays. Can y'all get to that?
Hey, Sheila here from the Rock and Talk show. Thanks for spending 2022 with us. It was an incredible year, amazing guests, and the best part of it is hanging out with my co-hosts, Paige, Perkins, Moss, and Fisher, and Olson. And thanks to all the guys from behind the scenes, Mark, Eric, and Graham. We have an exciting 2023 coming up, so hang tight, have a wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you in 2023.
I love this drum set. I spent a lot of time here. What's cool is I can think about the magic we had all year. Or I can think about the big events we had. Or I can think about all the comic relief, which we had a lot of. And I can't wait for next year, and we've got some great ideas and some great guests coming, and it's going to be wonderful. Happy holidays. When you have advice for, and not talking about young or old, just artists, just any artists, what would your advice be?
Ooh, I think, and this is from where I stand, I would try to remember every week the initial spark that got you started. What was it that created the relationship with music? Because I forgot it. My first was I was 8 years old, and I came up with a melody on a pump organ, and it made me cry. So there was between me and the maker. That was what happened. It had nothing to do with performance. It was just a musical interaction of the universe.
Yeah.
And I forgot for decades. And once I brought that back, it helps me just remind me of where I should be and how I should perform and why I should perform.
Wow. Awesome. That's profound. Profound, man. Thank you.
From Jacksonville to Wichita, I hitched a ride with an actress from LA. She drove and talked through a cloudy night, swore to me she would make it big one day. I didn't sleep a single wink, but we got to Austin in a blink. Yes, the sun was setting gently on the Capitol. You know, her name was Mary Angeline. She filled my heart with light and mystery. Well, I spend the day on Guadalupe, watching people having somewhere they should be. All business suits and hippie kids, but none of them seem to be all that free. Yeah, I found a dog in a fifth of gin, an empty bar that would let us in, with a jukebox that only played Townes Van Zandt. Yeah, I stayed a while and sang along, but I know when it's time to move on. Moving on. Yeah, learn to read the room and move along. Moving on. It's not up to me to fix everything that's wrong. Yeah, I'm moving on.
Wow. Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. I got to remember the lyric I love. Standing around watching people wonder where they are, where they should be.
Yeah.
That's a great line, man.
Thank you.
I got to give you this real quickly. Norwood, you changed my life. I told you this before. Let me tell you on the podcast. When I was in high school, I drove from Lafayette to New Orleans. My best friend said I could control the tape player. At the time, I was a jazz snob, and he put Bonin in the Boneyard, and I felt like Steve Martin in The Jerk when I said, I got to go find out what else is out there. And ever since that moment, I never, ever put music down. I at least gave it a chance to listen to it, because, brother, that moment changed my life, my man, and I appreciate it.
Wow.
Thank you, my brother.
Wow. I'm going to cry. Oh,
Me
my
too,
God.
man.
Oh my
Eyes
God.
water.
I met Norwood when I was 17, and I've seen him lay down so much highway for people to move their booty to. It's just unbelievable, man. And you know, as a drummer, I played with some amazing players, but no, everyone plays differently. But the way you fit when you play with Norwood, you have to be so aware of how fat the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 could be. You could stretch those words out. 1, 2, you know, and that's how Norwood thinks, man. So I
He's
love
the groove
Norwood.
master.
We missed you at the Ziggy, but we had Tony Franklin. He was pretty funky. He was good too.
Tony's amazing.
He was good.
That was in good hands.
You do have those qualities in your guitar playing with drumming, where you do, because you do a lot of cool, intricate time signature stuff too.
A lot of it's just, I mean, some of that stuff is just kind of, not going to get to like technical musician talk, but if you're playing like 6/4 or 4/6 or whatever, it's kind of like an optical illusion, because it sounds like you're doing more than you're really doing.
Right.
Yep.
It repeats later on, but they don't know that.
I mean, it's going against it, and it's rapping, and it's doing this thing, but it's really all you're going is going. But if you're doing it against 6, that it sounds way more like whoa, like, you know what I mean?
It's kind of like it kind of reminds me of the drum machine. You know, you might get some patterns, but instead of starting where it always starts, you start at a beat later.
Yeah,
right? And that becomes 1, and then it's like this really cool beat.
Well, yeah, what you just simply sung with your little melody could have been taken off Eat a Peach anywhere in the live moment. It's like cascading layers
And, like the Grateful Dead, 2 drummers, 2 guitar players, a piano player, a bass player with 6 strings. I mean, there's a lot going on, but everyone's got room. There's real estate. You just give each other the spot.
Listening to Cream changed my life in a lot of ways because in my humble opinion, to hear a trio, I mean, not even talking about their original stuff, but their adaptive stuff from traditional blues.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody that did it better electric. I just can't. And so I was a big fan. And for some reason, Ginger and I became friends.
What?
I don't know why that was, but we didn't hang out, but we just liked each other. Ginger Baker and my ex-wife and I went to see the opening night of Stanley Kubrick movie, 2001. Yeah, I got it, guys. I'm okay. Okay. Remember, we sat in the front row, and as I remember, now I think everybody was tripping, so my memory, it might be fuzzy at this point, but I have a vague recollection of Randy California, the guitar player from Spirit, getting up, and the screen back then at that time was like a bunch of beads hanging together, and when some 2001 thing was happening, he got up and walked through the screen. That's what I remember.
The first time I went to NAMM, I think our friend's Pop, their dad who worked for PV, got us a pass, and it wasn't that filled with regular people. There was only musicians around, and there was Eddie Van Halen and Richie Blackmore and all the great players. Now, I mean, I'm not sure what it's going to be like now, but it turned into a place where you couldn't find anybody cool. You had to get through all the normal and oh, there's Gene Simmons. I finally see him.
You predate me. You got there before I got there.
And I got there before all of you.
Yeah.
I was there. We introduced the wah-wah pedal in Chicago NAMM back in I guess that was probably 60, 67, 68. 69, I was a little lad. But that's where the thing, and I actually played with the West Coast, my trumpet with the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band.
At NAMM?
At NAMM in Chicago, and I played the wah-wah. I demonstrated the trumpet with a wah-wah pedal.
I remember in Chicago, the first NAMM I went to, it was in Chicago, and I was 18, and that's where I met Eddie Van Halen. Who was
that's badass.
Super cool to me.
I think I stood outside of NAMM for 2 years straight, didn't know how to get in. In the third year, somebody was just walk in like you belong, and I did it. I just threw my head back, and somebody said, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I belong in here."
What was it like for you in those moments, like in the late 70s on the Sunset Strip? And I mean, it was such an incredible experience for me that it's so profoundly marked in my DNA. I'll never forget it.
One of the things in 1979, it was right that crossfade between what is considered classic rock now, Van Halen being the last band from LA, from Hollywood, from the Strip to get signed. Then they shut the door and in comes new wave and punk. So we started playing the same clubs that the up and coming new wave and punk bands were playing at. And so all of a sudden, instead of being more glam rock, more Bowie-ish or Queen, or all of a sudden we're picking up on the punk. There's a whole different attitude now, which actually carried over to the 80s. The bands from the Sunset Strip. If you take Motley Crue was very, very, for its time, was very punk influence. Everything, we started absorbing that. So we started playing a little bit different, a little bit more aggressive. The whole thing about glam rock was more about pomposity, pompous and bigger than life and all that. It wasn't really really in your face, aggressive. So we started to intake that energy of all the other bands that we were playing with, and I think that really helped to shape things to come once the 80s started happening. Let's say Twisted Sister. They were considered, hair metal, glam rock, but they were very much in your face.
East Coast,
East
in
Coast,
your face,
yeah,
man. Big
absolutely,
time. Yeah,
absolutely.
Big time.
And that's another thing that I noticed once I started playing with Ozzy in 1981, and I started, touring in England.
Yeah.
All of these bands that were considered influenced by glam, they were starting to get in your face. Like Iron Maiden, one of them. Motorhead.
You guys, we're live.
Yeah,
on
just with
right
Scottish
now,
accent.
to let you know.
Yeah.
No, we're live.
We're live.
Hey, everybody, live.
See who
We
we
are
really
live
wants us
because
to
they're watching
talk
it
to.
stream. They're watching this stream right now.
No, not yet.
Oh, she's looking at it right now. Sorry. You can say all you want. Dude, we're wasting this. Oh, well, this is our pre-show anyway. You know it's online.
Well, are we on our YouTube thingy?
Are we on YouTube yet or not yet?
We are on YouTube.
We are live on YouTube. No, we're not live on YouTube.
Oh, that's what they always. You know this part's live. It'll be on the play. All this will be on the playback.
We're not live.
You know how
yet.
it is.
We're not live yet.
Are we live yet?
Do you remember another musician where you pinched yourself and said, I used to have posters on my wall, and now I'm on stage with this one?
Jackson Brown, man, to me was just a mind melter, man. Yeah.
Wow.
It was the most amazing experience. Jackson came the day of the show, showed up at our condo to run the tune, I had asked him the previous night before, hey, why don't you come up and join us during our set? I knew he was in town. Showed up at our condo to learn the tune. At the end of it, I'm like, well, hey, you're up there. You want to do another one? and he got this look in his eye like a kid that just got picked for the kickball team and wasn't expected to go in the early rounds, man.
2 weeks ago, I'm working with this band called Air from Columbus. They came to LA on Thursday. They went to the Mint. They met Jackson Brown with Dave Moss helping that. And then on Sunday, when they left town, they met Dave Grohl. So they got bookends of California, the beginning and where it's at now. And they were only here for 5 days. They're like, what? This is what's going on in Los Angeles? I'm like, yeah, this is it, baby. You got to go.
Let's talk about my favorite show, Jackson Brown. That was my favorite show of the year. I think he is just, since I was a kid, he seemed like an untouchable songwriter. And then all of a sudden we're having conversations with him. And then Tal Wickenfeld was wonderful that day too, playing her songs, which she's just a great musician, a cool person all around.
I was going to ask you about the Pretender because there's rumors that there's some inference towards Fred Tackett with that song. Is that?
Well, Fred played on that song.
I know he played on it.
Played on the record. That was Jeff Porcaro and Fred Tackett and Bob Glove. The credits say that it's Lee Sklar, but that's a mistake. And I promised to correct in the next. I think what you might have heard about was that I wanted to be Fred Tackett.
That is what I heard.
I've always wanted to be Fred Tackett. He's the greatest rhythm guitar player on the planet.
The guy,
I wanted to be Fred Tackett.
Plug him into the song, and this thing would groove, and he was just playing like it was like for me, I thought it would be a lot more fun to be somebody that just grooved the song and responded to the song, and not have the responsibility of trying to say something in a song. So at that time, it took me so long to write The Pretender, and I just sort of exhausted, really. I thought I'd like to be that guy, he comes in and plays whatever song's being played and just add something, magical to it. And
that's cool.
That is exactly what I'd heard. Actually, Kenny Gradney told me that, and that he walked in, he'd plug in, he'd sit down, he'd do it so easily, and then he'd pick up and walk out, and there he goes.
Yeah.
It's great when you get to know what the lyrics are about from the guy that wrote the damn song. That's cool.
year over, legal age of consent. In the flower of sweet youth, our days of heaven were spent, giving that heaven away, giving that heaven away. Rock and rollin', free in your soul, and giving that heaven away. I'm looking around for that 60 cent, but those days are gone, and all us acid dropping, world stopping, bebopping freaks are just hanging on. Hey now, Nova, did you have to show the whole world how to rebel? Standing there with your long brown hair like a cool breeze blowing through hell.
I wanted to say something real quick about one of my friends, all of our friends, Taylor Hawkins. He's gone. I think about him all the time, and I miss him. But like John Bonham, Neil Peart, Keith Moon, we can put on the music, and there's actually recordings of Taylor, and that's him playing. That's his spirit captured on a recording. So you can listen to Taylor, and he can visit you every night in your ears. I love you, Taylor. I miss you.
Yeah, buddy. Beautiful.
Where did the day go? And that Winnebago, the two of us, hot as a stove. Fools for pleasure, digging for treasure, down in that black oak grove. Giving that heaven away, giving that heaven away. Woo, woo, giving that heaven away. Woo, woo, giving that heaven away. Woo, woo, giving that heaven away.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you.
That siren solo.
The siren was amazing. The siren was like a great effect. Perfect timing right in there for the siren.
The siren was great. We'll see you in the new year.
See you next time on the Rock and Talk Show Beyond Backstage with your hosts Norwood Fisher, Kenny Olson, Scott Page, Stephen Perkins, Sheila Conlon, and David Moss. Executive producers Sheila Conlon and David Moss. Producer and director Eric Lloyd. Assistant producer and creative director Mark Armentano. Editor Graham Cooper. Theme music by ThinkX. Sponsors IK Multimedia and Lewitt Microphones. Artist Relations TPI Films. Special thanks to From the Earth, ThinkX, The Conlon Company, and Mac. Check us out on YouTube /The Rock and Talk Show, Facebook and Instagram at The Rock and Talk Show.